Hey, welcome to Grow in Devotions for Your Daily Life. I want you to think about your local church, wherever you attend church, and I want you to think about, do you really know what it takes to operate a local church? Do you really understand how many volunteers it takes for everything to work? I want you to think about your Sunday school teacher, children's director, maybe it's a secretary, people who are singing week in and week out, those who are running the soundboard, those who are running computers. I'm not talking about your staff that's paid. I'm talking about those volunteers, people that for day in and day out, week in and week out, year after year, they serve. You know what? They spend countless hours serving in the local church. They don't get paid. A lot of times they don't even get recognized. They don't even get a thank you. In fact, in some churches, they're just expected to work hour after hour after hour and have a full-time job plus juggle their family. The average person will never know all that it takes to run a local church behind the scenes, no matter what size church that you are. So this has got me thinking about Deuteronomy chapter 15. Understand this: God is laying down rules and regulations, groundwork for the children of Israel. And he had just got done saying that if anybody owes a debt, that they are to be relieved of that debt after 7 years. But here's some guidelines to this. So he starts talking about those who are servants. And he's not talking about slaves. He's talking about those who became servants to a particular person. And he says, if a brother, a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman is sold unto thee, and he says, once he serves for 6 years, on the 7th year, let him go. So let me give you an illustration. So let's say that I had a debt that I couldn't pay. Well, what would happen is I would go to the person that I owed the money to, and I would work there for 6 years. And on the 7th year, I would be let go. All right, so is it just see you later, bye, have a good life? Why did they do this? Because they didn't want the Israelites going through bankruptcy, and then it would harm the Israelite for the rest of their life. So the worst case scenario, I worked 6 years, and on the 7th year, I'm let go. But this is how God said, I want you to let these people go. He goes to verse 13. And when you send them away, send him out, and don't let him go empty-handed. He says, I want you to furnish him liberally with your stock. I want you to go to multiple animals in your flock, and I want you to give this to this person so they can start their own flock. And he said, I want you to go to your floor and give him furniture, and I want you to give him bedding, and I want you to go to your wine press and supply him with wine. And he says, and I want you to give him and bless him as the Lord has blessed you. And so I begin to think about this. Now here's a man who was just simply serving this person because they were paying a debt. And when they were leaving, God says, I want you to honor this person. And I begin to think about our volunteers at church. How much did God say to honor the person who owed the debt and served for 6 years, and he lavished him with gifts and flock and a lot of money? And I thought, if God is saying that for the servant, how many times do volunteers at the local church get left behind, and they get burnt out, and they get tired? Proverbs 3:27 says this: do not withhold good from those whom it is due when it is within your power to do it. I want you to think about those who serve in the local church, and I want you to reach out to them because you have the power of words. You're saying, I don't have money, and that's not what this is about. This is about the power of words and not withholding good to them that is due, to reaching out to those that are not getting paid, that don't get recognized. Some of them don't even get a thank you. Maybe it's your Sunday school teacher. Maybe it's a secretary. Maybe it's the soundboard operator. Maybe it's a musician. Maybe whoever it may be, and God lays you on your heart, and you just want to thank them for volunteering week after week at the local church and for serving the Lord. Remember, they're not looking for a pat on the back, because if that was their goal, then their reward would be here and not in heaven. And I would much rather have our reward in heaven and not on earth. But don't withhold good to them that it is due. And I promise you, the volunteers at local church, it is due. I hope you have a great day. God bless.